If you do have any questions throughout, please feel free to put those in the Q&A or chat box. And at the end, Alex will pass those on to me. So if we do have time, I will address your questions. I'm also happy at any point if you do want to book a webinar or you want to discuss anything, you have any questions, please feel free. She'll also post my contact information as well. So you can reach out to me anytime. I'm more than happy to do presentations for yourselves or your offices and add any assistance that I can. So that will be in the chat box. Just quickly, so when we go on to the portal, as you can see here, I'm already in RPS Access. If you are new and you have to create a password, it's very simple. You just put in, a username and a password. It says log in for the first time, and then it will send you an email code, which you then need to do to sign in. You just click on that, and then it allows you to have access. One of the things to point out on the portal is right here on the left-hand side, our broker support team. So if you do have any issues with this, obviously you're more than welcome to reach out to myself. Obviously, if I'm in a presentation or meeting, I wouldn't have access to help you, but there are the contact information. As you can see here, you can call the 1-800 number. There's also the email address. So there's lots of ways that you can reach out and get help, and our client success team are fantastic, and they're more than happy to add assistance. On the right-hand side, I'm just going to show you here, you can see that it does list out all our lender partners. So if you are curious for placing an order, if we do deal with that lender specifically, they are listed out here as well. One more thing to note actually on this homepage, because it is fantastic, is our free webinars, which obviously you're on one now, but we do have others with some of our partners from Moody's, economists. Our president just hosted a power panel with top economists from the big banks. So feel free to keep an eye on the webinar calendar, because there's lots of great events that are happening or coming up, and you're more than welcome to join those as well. One other really cool feature that's on here is the homeowner video. So for you to add value for your clients, you can always share this video for them to help prepare for an appraisal. So if it's a first-time home buyer or a young couple, it's something that's a great tip or a great tool for you to share with them as well. And so across the top of the home page, when you sign on, you can see there's your dashboard. So that would give you a history of or places you've ordered. Here's to create an order, which we're going to go into in 2 seconds here, and I'm going to walk you through quickly. Lender redirect, we get a lot of questions on that. So again, we can touch on that for a few minutes at the end. If you're through the process and then you stop for some reason, you can always go into resume your last order. And then, as I mentioned, our fantastic free tool, the house price tracker. So let's go in and create an order. So you just click on the tab, create order, and it's very, very user-friendly. You literally type in your name. So I'm going to use myself, obviously. So Amy, email. So we'll click on. And where is the property located? So I'm just going to pick a property that I'm familiar with. You literally just start typing in the address. It does pre-populate, as you can see. And this is the address I'm going to pick here in Springwater. One tip that I would definitely do when you do use the pre-populate, just always double check, because if you have the street number and the province, postal code, city, if you're missing any of these for some reason, or if you type in the full address yourself and you miss the postal code with the city, or then it can flip back or it won't progress. So just always double check again and make sure that that's all correct. As you can see, it listed down here. What is the estimated market value of the property? So if you have an idea, or depending, I guess, on the client situation, if you're doing a refinance or purchase, but you can put in the estimated market value of the property. Continue. Next page, what type of mortgage is it? So if it's a sale or a purchase, a refinance or a transfer. So let's say this is a sale or a purchase. So you click on that. And scrolling down. Now this shows you all the different lenders. So you're going to pick which lender that you're sending it to. I'm going to pick B2B Bank. And if you keep scrolling down, what is the lender's reference number? If you don't have that, as it states here beside it, not required, so not to stress about that. You do need to put in here the email address of the underwriter. Most of these will all pre-populate from the bank when you select it. So what I would do is just highlight that and copy it, and then you just paste it in the field here. And scrolling down, when does the appraisal need to be completed by? So on this one, because we did say we're at the top that it's a sale or a purchase, so we most likely have a condition of financing date. So definitely you want to put in the specific date. Now, things to keep in mind when you put in your condition of financing is that if it's too soon, you run the risk that a lot of them will decline it. In this, we're not quite as busy right now. Everyone obviously is feeling the effects of the market. So not as big of an issue, but especially in like spring markets and things, just to heads up, if you say, it's due by tomorrow, a lot of the appraisers might decline that request because it's too soon anyway. So you'd have to definitely reach out to those lenders as well and see if they're even able to adjudicate a file that quickly. But usually I would say at least, 3 to 5 business days as a minimum. I would usually always, hopefully if you're getting it in sooner than that, but I would say let's book it out at least over a week. So let's say the 15th, continue. And then what type of, again, at the top, very self-explanatory, almost done, what type of appraisal request. So let's say a full appraisal. And then as you notice here, and you do have to make sure you tick all these off or it won't let you keep going. It'll give you an error message. Does the lender require additional assessment? So if you needed a market rent or an as-is improved, so we don't need a market rent, so we don't need an as-is improved. And then who should we contact to provide access to the property? You can get away with just inputting one. I would always recommend you put two, just if they can't get a hold of that individual, if they keep trying, and then if they don't get in touch with them, then it will flip it back. So again, I would say, if you put the borrower, if obviously if they're the ones who are to contact, so let's just put my information again, myself, 437 739. And again, you could add another individual as well. English, as we could do, obviously, you can select French. And then additional information. So there's nothing that's required in the additional information, but this is a great spot to put any information that may be important for the appraisal. So specifics, if maybe there's issues to access the property, if they have pets, if it is a tenanted property and there's a tenant in the basement, just so that they have as much information as possible when booking the appointment. And then they know if there's a tenant, they have to give so much time. So just any kind of information that you can give that might be important for the appraisal, that would be very helpful to put in there. And then continue. And this is where you would get your payment summary, which would show the exact costs. So if you do get up on this property not available for a system, I would contact you with a quote shortly. So again, this is where also it would pop up for the payment summary, and it would give you the ability to either email it to your client, because if the client's paying, or some brokers pay directly themselves. So you have that option, and then this is where you would input the payment information and submit. So that is basically it. And then you see on the right hand side here, order summary. So it shows you who the borrower is, estimated market value, it's a purchase, condition of financing date, and what type of appraisal that it is. And with the fees, again, we try and be very transparent. So upfront is usually when you'll get the total cost of what the appraisal is. If there's something that's missed that's a big deal, or if it's submitted for an AVM and you actually need a full appraisal, of course, those are things that are going to change the cost and could be substantially. So, just again, really make sure everything that you're inputting is accurate and you have the correct information, because those are the things that would affect the price where we'd have to come back to you. But if everything's input accurately, and we have that information up front. The quote that you get should be definitely what the cost is. That's basically it. So it's very user friendly, very easy. It doesn't take long. I know some people have said some of the other AVMs or the other portals that they've logged into, it's like one page with just all the information on the same page. Ours is essentially the same. It's just spread out. So it's a little easier to view and to click through the tabs. So again, very user friendly. Any questions at all? Again, you can always reach out. You can email or call myself or the broker support team. Um, One of the other things to note, so when you are looking again on the home page, let's go back here. At the top, like I said, though, it does show your dashboard, which shows the orders. There's creating the new order. And for a lender redirect, as you can see here, this just lists out some of the important information. So this gives you basically, um, the info that you need to be cognizant of when you're requesting a lender redirect. With this, because we do get a lot of questions, like I said, feel free to reach out to myself or the broker support team, because sometimes people think it's as simple as just changing a name on a report, but there are things that come along with that. We have to get the letter of direction, or we have to get the release letter from the other lender, and then it depends on what association that the initial report was done through, and what we need to do. So we do touch on that in our accredited webinar with Darren. So if you're available, that's coming up on November 17th. And then you'll get more of the ins and outs with a lender redirect and all the details. So if you're interested in that, feel free to join us for that webinar as well. But again, it's not as simple as, oh, just change, a name. There is a process behind it. So just be cognizant of timing. If you need something switched over immediately, it doesn't necessarily happen that quickly. And then obviously you're going to resume your last order. Like I said, if you've gone out and then you wanted to go back to that same order, as you can see, it goes back to where I was just in. And lastly, what I'm going to take a look at with you is our house price tracker. So this is a phenomenal tool that you have access to for free, as I mentioned. And this is something that you don't have to be placing an order because you're already registered with us on the portal. You do have access. You can click on the house price tracker as you see the tab, and you can plug in an address. So we use that same 23 Trail Boulevard, and I'll just show you really quickly what it looks like. Oops. There we go. It usually does pre-populate as well. And then it asks you the style of the home. So single family detached, purchase price. I'm just taking a guess here. Purchase date. Again, this is information that I'm more guessing on, which is fine. Obviously, if you have the exact info, so if you're doing, like I say, refinance, or your clients own their home and they're either renovating and they want to add some value, some dollars onto that. Obviously, if you're filling in the exact information in here, that's what's most helpful. You can actually literally even put add renovation if they've done renos already, and then generate report. And then this is what you will get. And this is a fantastic tool because, like I said, you can literally use this to have conversations with your clients. It's a great way to reach out to the clients and have a great conversation, instead of just like a happy birthday or, thanks for your business. So I'm just going to open it up here. As you can see, broker, so your name and contact information is also listed on the actual sheet. And then as you can see, that it would have the client's name if you put the client's name in there. But this is a really nice professional looking add value for you to send to your clients. And once you've ordered an appraisal with us, then you will get this automatically emailed to you. And you have the ability, then it's almost like you don't, with your CRM, and you don't have to build in a contact or remember. This automatically will come to you, and you can forward that email to your client saying, here's an updated value of your property. So it's especially in this market where prices are, very uncertain. Everyone thinks their house is still way up here and some have dropped or some haven't. So it's a great way to reach out to your clients. And obviously that's for most people one of their biggest assets that they have. So it's nice to be able to track that investment. So a great tool for you to utilize, and to have better conversations to help the whole process be more efficient. So as you can see, what it lists on here shows you for single family detached properties in that this is a local market insight, semi-detached, row townhouses, and condos, and then it shows you the history as well. So very cool tool that, like I said, is a free resource for you to utilize as one of our valued customers. So that is basically it. It's very user friendly. Doesn't take very long to walk through. I also showed you a bunch of other things in there. So yeah, was there any questions at all that came up from today's?
Yeah, so I have a couple.
Great.
The first one is, can this be presented to my office, especially the house price tracker?
Absolutely. As I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, I'm always happy to do presentations. So yeah, just reach out to me, flip me an email, and I would love to, or give me a call. I'd love to set up a presentation for your specific office. That'd be wonderful.
Perfect. And then another one is the RPS house price tracker report similar to Terranet's report that we have to pay for?
It is. The only difference, which obviously I know you guys like that the Terranet shows, Purview shows the registrations that are on title, where ours does not. Obviously, it just shows the value. Uh, but a lot of people who have feedback that I've gotten, so I don't have statistics on this, but feedback that I have gotten from a lot of broker partners is that our report, they do like the values that we're giving, that they seem to be more accurate. So just for those of you too who aren't aware, the data that we have access to is phenomenal. So even our HPI, we partner with Moody's Analytics, and they do a forecast of using our HPI data. So it is substantial, and we were always known for our accuracy in the past, and it was more our hit rate, which wasn't as high. But over the last 6 months to a year, we've acquired even more data. So now we have probably one of the highest out there. So our hit rate and our accuracy is way up there, which is phenomenal. So yeah,
Perfect. Sorry, just a couple more came through.
sure.
Can I order AVMs through the portal as well? Who decides if an AVM is allowed for an order?
So when you notice on the create an order, when we were going through, and actually let's just go back to Zoom last order, should be able to, that is one of the tabs. So yes, you can choose if it's an AVM, a full, a drive-by. It does list out the different types of appraisals. In terms of choosing what type, obviously that would depend on the lender. So you would have to double check with the lender, um, in terms of which one's acceptable for that specific deal.
Perfect. And then this is just the last one. If my commitment letter shows Brookfield, can I use RPS?
So we are one and the same. I apologize. I usually always touch on that. We are part of the Brookfield. We are a Brookfield company, so we are part of Brookfield Business Services. So yes, RPS is our company, but we are part of the Brookfield family. Well, thanks so much, everyone, for taking time and joining today. And yeah, happy to answer any questions or set up any presentations for your offices or individually. And yeah, utilize our house price tracker. And again, thanks so much for taking time today. Have a great afternoon.